Hi there, Couch Potatoes. Welcome back to another Couchbound video. Recently, I've been playing a little indie game on Steam called Hunt and Fight. It was developed by Start Impulse and 2Cake Studio. I would describe it as a fun, medieval-themed hack-and-slash action RPG. It is currently on Steam, Epic, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. I do believe it's also coming to the Microsoft Store shortly, but don't quote me on that one. Now I'm going to be very open and say I didn't pay for this game. I have actually reached out to 2Cake Studio, who have published this game, and offered to review it for them. They were lovely enough to take a chance on my tiny YouTube channel, so thank you to 2Cake Studio for giving me a copy of this game. I appreciate it a lot. However, I will do my best to remain honest and unbiased and give you my straight up thoughts and opinions on this game. I think that's enough waffling, don't you? Let's dive into things. The game starts out with your character being shipwrecked on a tiny little island. A quick tutorial later and you're thrown into the heart of the game, hunting and fighting your enemies in order to escape. The story is pretty wafer thin, and the quests don't offer much more in terms of world building. The core gameplay literally finds you hunting and fighting your enemies across the island. It says what it does on the box. This action RPG works as a bit of a hack and slash game, using your mouse to control your attacks and keyboard to move around. It took me a hot minute to get used to the controls. I rushed the tutorial a bit and missed how to parry. This meant I had to learn on the fly mid-game. The keyboard keys for movement felt a little janky at first, especially getting stuck on parts of the environment. I found my feet after a while and soon got used to it. The combat could be a little tricky in the beginning, learning the character's movements and the enemy's attack patterns. This game was a bit unforgiving in the beginning. As you progress, you find different enemies and weapon types. Each enemy type will have their own attack patterns. It's a matter of learning when it's best to dodge or block versus when it's best to attack. I found that the weapons were all melee based, but differed from one another depending on their type. Swords would be quicker and use less stamina, while big two-hander axes dealt out more damage, but took longer to swing and often cost more stamina. In future updates, I'd love to see some ranged attacks introduced into the game. Maybe some bows and arrows, or even perhaps magic would be pretty fun too. Just to add a little variety, but the combat all in all was fun. When I first noticed this game on Steam, what caught my eye is how much it resembled old school RuneScape. It has this simple, cel-shaded, medieval appearance. Nothing is overly complex, but not too simple either that you don't know what you're looking at. The game is also scored with these catchy little medieval soundtracks that are linked to the different regions of the game. This means when you remain in an area, you'll inevitably hear the same track over and over, which can become a little much, unfortunately. All in all, the tracks are still really good, full of strings and flute instruments, and add a lot of tone and atmosphere to the game. In addition to this, the developers have also used this cool little font, which seems to be based on runes. It can be a little tricky to read, but it does look really cool. When it comes to value for money, I think that it might depend on the player's experience with this one. I was able to roughly get 6 hours of gameplay, and in that time, finish the story and 100% all the achievements on Steam. It retails for just under 15 Australian dollars on Steam. Some might say that's alright mileage for their money. I would have liked to see a little more out of it. Not to say it was bad. This game was fun and has good bones. Perhaps if the developers added a couple of things and fleshed out what they have already done, this game wouldn't be just nice, but awesome. I'd like to see some more variety in the game. I think that's all it needs. A couple more weapon types, maybe even a couple more quests. I think giving this game a rating out of 10 wouldn't be doing it any justice. The mileage really would depend on the player. Instead, I'm going to recommend it to players whom I think might enjoy it instead. It would be good for fans of RuneScape looking for that nostalgia hit. The combat's not the same, but it sure does give you the same vibe. anyone who likes to grind, especially RPGs, those who like simple old school hack and slash games, and just anyone who wants to support a small indie developer. So yeah, that's Hunt and Fight, a short but solid little indie with some real potential behind it. I had fun cutting my way through the island and seeing what Two Cake Studio and Start Impulse cooked up. Big thanks again to the team at Two Cake Studio for giving me a chance at checking this one out. It really means a lot. This is actually the first bit of content on the channel that I didn't pay for myself. So it's a pretty big milestone. If you're after a bite-sized medieval hack and slash that doesn't take itself too seriously, this game might just scratch that itch. Anyway, that's enough from me today. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, drop a like, maybe subscribe, and as always, stay comfy, couch potatoes.